Hi everyone and welcome to another speed build on The Sims 4. Today I thought I would recreate one of the classic houses from the first series of the game. If any of you have ever played The Sims 1 before, the Goths are like the legends of The Sims. And I thought I would translate that into The Sims 4. Obviously there was a little bit of issue with having some of the objects that couldn't be placed in there, like the piano. Kind of one of the most iconic items of the Goths is the piano and the whole classic feel that you get from them. But unfortunately, the game here just doesn't have a good enough piano. It's just too big. So, because the Goth house was strangely cheap in The Sims 1, like a lot of the objects just weren't expensive, you know? They're very basic if you actually look at it, which is quite surprising because they've always been known to be quite the grand family of the game and expensive and have a lot of money, and they especially did in The Sims 2 onwards. But The Sims 1, it was just very basic. I suppose it was new and they just didn't get the luxuries. They had a very ugly fridge, I remember that. While I was designing this house, I was looking at the pictures from The Sims 1, so just to make it as spot on as possible. And again, like even trying to like find the right door here, just to something that would sort of suit the kind of style of the door in The Sims 1. And the same with when I put the windows on as well. I kind of went with that door just because it was the closest to the door that I could see there. And the same with the windows as well. And I do change the color just because it was a little bit too dark compared to the door, and obviously the windows in that game were a lot lighter. I wish I could make it more realistic looking, but you know, I did the best. I did the best that I could do with this game, and I think it turned out pretty well. And you know, I love having the former game houses in the newer games. I don't know why. I suppose because I grew up playing the Sims games. It's quite nice to have it sort of in the modern versions, just to see what it's like. And I think that's actually what I'd prefer, really. If I was playing this game, I would prefer to have it as an older game. Well, what I mean to say is, I would rather have the Sims 1 town in The Sims 4 or The Sims 3. And there is actually a download somewhere. I can't remember where it is. I'll have to try and find a link for it, where someone did actually build the Sims 1 town in The Sims 3, and it's just perfect for me. Here I had a little bit of the trouble with the windows, which is really annoying because it was only until later that I do fix it, so it is fixed. So there is windows. I would suggest if you choose to download this, which it is available on my Origin account, if you look down in the links below, you will see the link to, well, you see the ID, sorry. You'll see the ID to my Origin account. I should probably change that with the link. But if you go onto the, what's it called? Whatever the shop is called, the community thing, on thesims4.com, and just type in the ID GamerixUK, then you will definitely be able to download this house and enjoy The Sims 1 and The Sims 4. It's very basic, the objects as well. I mean, I get to that a little bit later on, but and just trying to like find the right floor pattern here was just absolute agony, because I was just like, I wanted it to be as good as I could make it, so I really didn't want to cut corners and just be lazy, and I was putting so much effort into it that I wasn't like, oh well, I'll just, you know, this is good enough, you know. I wanted to have it exactly as good as I could get it. The same with the wallpapers, you know, I had to go with this one. The pattern on the top is similar to the first one, but obviously it didn't have the wooden frame on it for the living room. But it was just the closest one that I could get, so I suppose it's like a slightly more modern version of a classic. And same with the tiles, you know, it's like they were very bold colors in The Sims 1. I always find it's quite the cartoonish kind of game, a little bit less serious than in The Sims 3 or The Sims 4. I feel like the series got a lot more realistic in The Sims 3 and The Sims 4, and there's a lot more childish and playful in The Sims 1 and The Sims 2. I mean, back in The Sims 1, I must have been, God, I was in primary school, so I was probably like 8 or 9, playing this game. So I've been playing this since I was 9 years old. And when I was designing lots then, it was just literally, there was so much amazing stuff in there. So much goofy stuff, and, you know, I just wanted all of it. So it was the cheat, motherload, the cheat, and none of them had jobs. It was just doing stuff every day with all the objects. And I had all of them, so it was, you know, making magic and superstar and all that. And there was just a lot of objects outside. I just couldn't even fit it in a house. I was just like, yeah, I just want it, so I'll just put it down. It's fine. The bed is actually pretty spot on, this bed, because it's had the wooden frame and the blue on top. And the same with the light. So with that room, it's pretty accurate. And the bathroom as well, actually, is pretty similar. I did want it that way because it was, it's that way in the other game. But then I thought, like, oh, well, maybe it might not be accessible. So I changed it. It's probably a good move in the long run. But again, it is a very basic house. Like, I'm quite surprised how grand it's become. Because in the Sims 1, it's just very basic. I suppose that was probably more limitations to when it was being made. I miss those giant tables, though. I was going to put 2 together, and then I thought, oh, that looks a bit ugly. So I just decided to go with that. But there is also a painting here as well, which I put on the wall in the living room. And it's pretty spot on. It's just doing the outside now. Just trying to get it as similar as possible. I literally looked at so many pictures to try and get this as right as I could. And just, honestly, it just took quite a long time. But I'm glad how it turned out. I might have to do some more of these, putting the older houses in the newer games. Do any of you remember those plants? The really like basic looking plants that were everywhere, and they always had some pattern to them. You know, I don't know about anyone else, but me personally, like when I'm doing these plants, it's just all one. You know, even though I grew up with The Sims 1 that had like 7 different plants in a row, like that design. It was all just one for me now. And there we go there, fixing the windows so it's all good. And they work, just I wouldn't move them if I was you. Any of the ones on the roof, just don't even attempt to move it. Just doing the upstairs now. And they have that ugly bed in The Sims 1. That bed that just looked like, oh, it was gross. And the dollhouse as well. There wasn't a dollhouse, regular sized dollhouse, so I'm afraid it's gonna have to be like this massive monster dollhouse, which is actually probably more grand than the Sims house anyway. I mean, I would love to see some of you guys like use this house and have your own little Sims 1 in the Sims 3. I think that would be so cool. So, you know, if you do, let me know in the comments below. And the lights, the lights were hard because I could only really see the any table lights. in the game, in the pictures. So I kind of I got to that point, I think at this point, I don't know if I removed them all, but I kind of like wanted it to be like a little bit bright, like have some light. But I think I take them off. I think I was like, wow, it's got to stick to the game. But I'm not sure. And the iconic water fountain as well. That thing was everywhere. I suppose it was probably like the only one that that could be done anyway. So tombstones, sadly, not brought into the game. The borders as well. I tried to make this as dark as possible so it sort of matched with the rest of the house. But I like how it turned out. The shape of the house is accurate. It is tile accurate. But I am finished here. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share to help the channel grow. I'll see you soon.